Good morning, everyone. Good Erev Shabbos, and today is the Bitachon message from Parshas Re'eh. This is in the 6th Aliyah, and it's something that we've spoken about in the past, the mitzvah of Shemitah, of where a farmer allows his land to lay fallow during the 7th year in Eretz Yisrael, and he lets things grow as they do. But and he doesn't worry about his parnas. He doesn't worry where his livelihood is going to come from. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives him a promise that there'll be bumper crops and there'll be extra produce that's going to grow. And someone that trusts in Hashem, he has nothing to worry about. That's the mitzvah of Shemitah. But the Torah introduces another idea in Shemitah, and that is that there's something called the remission of loans, which is that if a person loaned another Jew money before the Shemitah year, and the Shemitah year comes and goes, and the man never pays you back, so then the halacha, the law is that loan is batal, it's nullified, and the borrower no longer owes a penny, not a single cent, to the man who loaned him the money. And this is a mitzvah that requires enormous amounts of bitachon. We know that giving a loan itself is something that the Torah prescribes. You're never allowed to ask interest from another Jew. If I loan a Jew $1,000, even though in the world at large, if you loan somebody money, you always charge a little bit of interest in order that you should make some money off of this act that you're doing. Nevertheless, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says in the Torah, our obligation towards our fellow Jews is chesed. And chesed is done without payment. Chesed is done without trying to get something out of it. Chesed is done that from the goodness of my heart, I'm giving and taking care of you and servicing your needs. And therefore, when it comes to giving a hava, when it comes to giving a loan to another Jew, the halacha is no ribis. You're not allowed to charge even 1 cent of interest from that person so that the chesed is complete. So when I'm giving a loan, I'm giving my own money. I'm not getting anything back in return except the money itself eventually. You are getting the chesed, of course. You're getting the kindness. You help another Jew through difficult times. But financially, I'm getting nothing. That's already one level of bitachon, where I look at my life as being a spiritual person, not as a physical person. I look at my life as being something where I want to help another Yid, and I'm not in it for myself at all. But then the Torah says, if that Jew who owes you the money and the loan runs over into the Shemitah year and he never pays you back, so just as you allowed the land to lay fallow, and just as you trusted in HaKadosh Baruch Hu that He'll take care of all of your needs, you're going to do a chesed here as well. You're going to let the loan be absolved, and you're not going to owe him, he's not going to owe you a penny at all. And therefore, you are going to live with bitachon gamar, complete trust in the Ribbono Shel Olam, that you will give money and HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give you the money that you need to be able to survive. And if a Jew who owes you the money never pays you back, you're going to be totally fine with that. It's not going to bother you at all. The remission of the loans, as the Torah says over here, is something that a person has to buckle down in their world of bitachon to show the tremendous trust that they have in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The money is not my money. The affluence is not my affluence. The financial success is not my financial success. As we said in last week's Parsha, when a Jew gets to the point where they start proclaiming it's my might and it's my savvy and my business smarts that made me all this money, that Jew is going to be in big trouble. HaKadosh Baruch Hu can knock him off of his high horse. So in this mitzvah over here, a person recognizes it's not about me. Just like the land is not about me, it's not my farming skills, it's not the sun that I harness into the fields, it's not the irrigation system that I built, it's not that I picked the choices of seeds. No, on the other hand, it's all the Ribbono Shel Olam. So too my money, which I loan anyway, in such a manner that I gain nothing financially from it, is all for the sake of chesed. With all the chesed that I do, even in that, Hashem says, you might end up losing that too. And the Torah is telling us, you don't lose anything. A person who cares for his fellow Jew doesn't lose a penny in life. Why? Because HaKadosh Baruch has a much different scale of measurements, how he looks at one's finances and their success and what they do with their money. A person who makes a lot of money and puts a lot of money in the bank and buys extravagant things, so to the outside world he looks like a success story. However, in the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch he looks just like perhaps a Baal Chemda and a Baal Taiva, someone that's chasing after the acquisitions and the luxuries of life. A person who doesn't have much financially, but he takes his money and he gives it out to tzedakah, and he gives it for a loan to help another Jew who needs his help, and then at the end of the day he's willing to forgo all of that. In the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's the greatest spiritual, financial millionaire that you could possibly imagine. So we learn from the midst of Shemitah how intrinsic bitachon is to our livelihood, to our finances, to the way that we look at another Jew and we help another Jew. And remember, money, it belongs to Hashem. It doesn't belong to us. Give if you can, and even if you can't, try to give what you can push yourself to give. Loan the money, even when you're not in the mood to loan it out. And in that way, be'ez Hashem Yisbarach, we will find tremendous favor in the eyes of Hashem for the great levels of bitachon that we have reached. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful Shabbos.